Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Today we are going to be reviewing Little Women of Atlanta, Season 6, Episode 4, Mismanagement. All right, y'all. So last week I didn't get a chance to do my review for Little Women of Atlanta, but I just want to touch on a few things from last week's episode. Juicy, honey, we're going to have to get you a breast reduction. You were sitting there with two boobs, no neck, and a head. You gonna have to get yourself together, honey. That was a very ridiculous look, honey. I know you. I mean, that thing was stinging in the back. I ain't gonna take it from you. But the way the front and that corset was pushing those airbags up, honey, you looked like you had just been in a car accident, honey. What is wrong with you? You need to get that together, honey. And the way you were sitting there eating that carrot, you had placed that carrot ever so strategically between your boobs so you didn't have to use your hands. Honey, it's a fool. The whole episode was a fool. You need to get yourself together. That's the only thing I want to say about that episode. Child, and we got to meet Abira's mom. Honey, the apple don't fall far from the tree. Cut it out, child. Let's get into it. So on this episode, it picks up where it left off, and Abira yelling and spitting about the twins. She's out there, losing her mind because the twins said she disrespected them and she wasn't really saying anything. Both of y'all are at fault, but I feel like Abira really wants to be friends with the twins. I feel like she doesn't want to be angry, but it's just something that she's accustomed to. So she feels like the louder she talks and the more aggressive she gets, that'll make people fear her, and she's confusing fear for respect. So you need to cut that out of Abira. Just go back inside and act like you got some sense. And another thing I want to say from last week's episode, it is not Shyman. It is a shaman, honey. Y'all kept saying, we're going to see the shy man. Oh my goodness, y'all will dissect the word in a minute. It's shaman, okay? Now that we have that covered. So then Abira comes back to the group after her anger is addressed. Tanya is back. I forgot to mention that. So, the shaman asked if they could just coexist because all of the negative energy that they're putting out and the things that they're doing is not making anything any better. Basically, just respectfully agree to disagree. Okay. And then when she asked if they could at least coexist, it was dead silence. I'm like, y'all are so childish, honey. Get it together. Now we go over to Minnie. Minnie isn't feeling well. So her boo is making her some tea. Honey, he brought her some cold tea. I would have been ticked off. He kept saying, I don't know how to make tea. I don't know how to make tea. Boy, everybody know how to make some hot tea, honey. You put the hot water in there, put the tea bag in there, squeeze a little lemon and some honey, stir it around and give it to the girl, child. But y'all cute, though. So he tried, Minnie, so don't be too hard on him. He at least tried. So then her mom shows up looking angry, and I'm like, what is your mama so upset about? But I think she's just upset because she feels like Minnie is actually being taken care of by someone other than her. And I was correct, because when she sat down, she started asking her, did he put a cough drop in it? Did he make you some soup? Did he put Vicks on your chest? See, these are all the things your mama would do. Yes, those are all the things that your mom would do, but Minnie's a grown woman. Y'all named her Minnie for whatever reason, but she's actually an adult. So the fact that she has found someone who actually cares for her and loves her and is trying, please don't run him away with all that crazy stuff. And y'all sitting there talking like he not even in the room. Don't do that. So then the mama says that Minnie needs her because she's always been taking care of her. So she tells this story about this little girl that was picking on her on the bus, and basically she had to handle it just like she did Juicy when she threw those chicken wings and ranch all over Juicy. Don't mess with Minnie. That sums it up, honey, because Tammy don't play. She ain't playing with y'all about hers, and I understand because, honey, I'm ready to get rowdy about mine too. So I understand that as a mama bear. But at the same time, now she's in a relationship, so we kind of just gotta let her go through it. And the poor boyfriend was just sitting over there listening like, oh my goodness, I better not mess this up, honey, because I don't want no problems with Tammy. Then we go over to Abira, who is waiting for her daughter to get off the bus. And I love Abira's mommy moments. I love that. Every scene that I can see her and soak up her being a mom, I love that part because we don't see none of the rest of them being mamas, honey. Money can't get her son to come down there. If she paid him, he want to stay in Houston with that man that she was married to. The twins, Andrea, is it Andrea? Yeah, Andrea always ship her kids off to Texas. She have one to ship it off FedEx, honey. So we don't never get to see them being moms. So I really appreciate when we get to see Abira actually taking care of her kids. Okay. So she said that moving here was kind of an adjustment for them. So talking about making sure the kids have a routine. and them going to get the sister off the bus every day is something that they can start with. And them just being a family, it helps, and helps to know that you always have someone. Okay. And so she's telling us about that and about her experiences. And then she calls her mom. So her mom is like basically listening to her vent, and Abira tells us that when she feels hurt, she defends herself. She doesn't feel like she has any other choice but to fight. But Abira, at the same time, y'all have both done things to each other, but I guess it brings up old memories of things she's gone through in the past. So her mom gives her a little bit of advice, and Abira's like, I don't know, Mom. I don't know what's going to happen next time I see them, because when I get angry, I just boil over like that teapot that the boy was supposed to be using to make Minnie some tea, honey, and she can't hold it. Once she explodes, that's all she wrote. So she was trying to tell her mom that, and her mom told her, don't let anybody deter her from her goals. The reason why she left Tampa to come to Atlanta is because she wanted to accomplish something for her and her kids. And I respect that. You cannot let anybody throw you off track. Just pay dust to them twins, honey. They cocky because they have each other. So just let it go. Stop fighting. Just act like they're not even there. I mean, I can easily ignore a person. That's no problem for me. Then we go over to Monie in her new spot. She finally got a place to lay her wig down, okay? Because she was traveling with her suitcases from place to place and sleeping head to foot with Abira. All right, so now that she has her own place, Chris and Andrea show up. When they came to that door, Monie said, oh, you brought Chris with you? Honey, I was just as shocked as you, because I'm just like, when Chris started traveling, honey, I've never seen him in a scene without it being a group setting and all the other guys are there. And you know what I did notice also? Jordan hasn't been on this season much. I guess maybe he's actually working. So, I mean, he ain't got time to be hanging out with the little women, honey. So Monie lets us know that Moreland is helping her with her son. He's helping her with her apartment. No, Monie. The point was for you to be independent of him. In case he jumped fly again, you could just go ahead on and live your life. But you letting him help you pay bills and buying all that rent-a-center furniture. Don't let him pay the lease on that big TV, that 50-inch screen TV. Don't let him do that. Because then he feels like he has a place to come and just come in and out because he's paying for stuff. No, y'all are not there yet. So that was a no-no for me. But okay, girl. And then she says he helps her, but then he goes missing for 3 days. See, that's what I'm talking about. He is an opportunist, honey. When he needs to come and be on screen, then he'll be back, and then you'll be grinning and eating up whatever he says. Paige, honey, girl, goodbye. Then Monie starts talking about the shaman and how she liked it and how she feels like they got something out of it. Honey, Andrea was looking at her like, I didn't get nothing from that. Okay, I'm just as stubborn as I want to be. I wonder if they're Tauruses, her and her sister. Because they are stubborn as an ox, honey. They don't bend for nothing. And so, basically Andrea was just saying Abira was trying to get under her skin. And, she didn't appreciate that. So Monie was like, yes, Monie being the peacemaker. She always trying to get him to come to an aha moment. And so she's like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all need to come together and stop being at each other's throats, because it really just doesn't make any sense. So as they're talking, Monie starts talking to her, and then Andrea reveals to her that she wants to be a model because Amanda is now choosing a solo career. Andrea, don't just start being anything just for the sake of being anything, just because your sister is doing something new, because one of y'all at one time wanted to be a nail tech. I don't know which one of you it was, but y'all just be doing anything and piecing stuff together each and every episode. Last season, y'all wanted to be pop stars, rappers, twerkers. Child, I don't know what's going on, honey, but she said she wanted to be a model. Then Monie asked Chris what he thought about it. Chris starts mumbling. I don't know what he was saying, so I can't really give y'all nothing because he started mumbling and basically, but I know he wasn't being supportive. I do know that. So Monie was like, the least you could do is be supportive. If she says she wants to be a model, because Monie, now I gotta say this about you. When that girl said she wants to be a model, you said, oh, like, what are you shocked at? She want to be a model, honey. All models don't walk the runway. They're editorial looks. You could be a hand model, a foot model, a leg model, an ass model, maybe, honey, perhaps. I mean, it's all kind of models you can be. But child, let's move on. So then Amanda goes to singing lessons, and child, she was grabbing on this door. It took her like 20 minutes to open that door. I'm like, what is going on with you? So he gave her a list of things that she was not supposed to do, but in true twin fashion, she did them anyway. And I'm like, girl, this man gave you a list, but I didn't know you weren't supposed to drink dairy or intake dairy when you're trying to be a singer. I guess because it produces mucus, which causes your vocal cords to kind of lock up. So I can understand. But she confessed to him that she had had dairy, and he gave her clear things to avoid, but of course she didn't do it. So then he starts asking her about her practice schedule. This girl says, I only practice 10 minutes a day. Girl, do you think Beyonce was born off of 10 minutes a day? No, honey. Like, we can auto-tune you, but at the same time, that's going to require more than 10 minutes a day. Like, y'all won't be taking this stuff seriously. Y'all just be doing something and picking up odd jobs, honey. Don't do that. If you don't want to be a singer, then don't be a singer, because I quite frankly don't even want to watch it anyway. So then she starts telling him that she gets down on herself and starts to think that she can't do it. She's not worthy of doing it. And I can understand that, being in their position, because, you know, a lot of times people are always doubting what they can do because of their stature. So I do understand that. But then Dallas lets her know that she can do it. And that's just the bottom line. So then he asked her about her manager. And then she starts throwing Minnie under the bus. She was like, well, my manager, you know, she's all in love. First of all, let the girl have some love. She's gone 6 consecutive seasons with a fake boyfriend, a fake baby. Y'all always talking about it. She never has anybody to love on her. She finally found somebody. And also, stop acting like she's not involved with you because she's in love. Y'all just found out about this boy 5 minutes ago. So girl, gone. So then he starts to ask what Minnie has done for her. And, you know, she's running down a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but it's not much. So he lets her know, you know, usually friends don't make good business partners. I can attest to that. Family and friends, you kind of want to stay away from the business aspect of it. Then we move over to Abira and her daughter. They're grabbing a bite to eat, and she was eating like this cream cheese sandwich or something, honey. Entire mouth completely white, honey. I was like, oh, Abira, wipe her mouth, honey. Don't let her just sit there on screen with her whole mouth white. Oh my goodness. But they were having a mommy-daughter date, and I love that. And so she started asking her about friends. She's like, no, I don't have any friends. So then Abira was like, well, you know, you need to break out of your shell, you know, and start being friends with people. And then she asked her about boys, and she was like, no, I don't have a boyfriend or anybody that I like, because they talk funny. You know, I guess they talk different in Tampa than they do in Atlanta. Atlanta does have a little twang when they talk, you know what I'm talking about? I mean, they have a twang. It's the Southern in us, honey. We can't help it. Our dialect is a little different. So she says when boys ask her for her number, they be like, can I have your number? Oh God. Like, I don't know what that's about, but yeah, that's pretty much how they ask her for her number. So she's like, I really don't want to do anything or go out, because every time I try to, you always say no because you feel like I'm going to get pregnant. Then Abira starts to talk to her about how she got pregnant at 17. And so that's why she's so overprotective and so on her. And so, you know, she's so guarded because her mom wasn't on her like that. You know, she had a lot of freedom, and it caused her to do things and find love in places that weren't really there. So she said, I do want you to be social though, baby. I really do. And then her daughter starts crying. Abira starts crying. It was a very beautiful scene. And Abira, you got some beautiful kids, girl. I just got to give it to you, honey. You got some beautiful kids, child. And you a good mama. You a good mama. I got to give that to you. In the next scene, the girls get together for a dance class, and they learn some choreography so they can be Andrea's background dancers. Or is it Amanda? Amanda. So they can be her background dancers. They started doing this little routine, honey. It was cute, child. But Monie, you was struggling in the back. I'm just going to tell you right now, honey. The biggest one of them all, and you was struggling. Okay? Get your rhythm together. Amanda says that Dallas did a good job, you know, putting this class together. You know, she was trying to be shady and petty a little bit. So Minnie was like, oh, he did this? And so she was like, yes. Because she was trying to light a fire under Minnie. But honey, wasn't nothing being lit. No electricity going on, just like in Texas. Nothing. She got nothing. So then Minnie asked if she was trying to be her manager. And Amanda says, you know, no, he's not trying to be my manager, but he's trying to develop me as an artist, and he's just helping me with certain things. So Amanda says in her confessional that Minnie needs to come to her because, you know, Minnie keeps saying, you know, y'all need to come to me if y'all want to be booked. It doesn't work like that, Minnie. You need to go to your client and let them know what jobs you have lined up for them. Like, and so she said, Minnie, I just want to ask you a question. Do you feel like you're being a good manager to us? And yeah, of course, you know, Minnie, she's so sweet. She says what she says, honey, but basically, no, I don't feel like I'm being a good manager to y'all. And she is in a relationship and it's taking up a lot of her time. So then Minnie starts talking about Abira and her experiences. And one of the twins, I think it was Andrea. No, because Andrea is the real hardcore one. So it was Amanda. And she was like, you know what? I feel like we don't know as much about Abira as we thought. Maybe, we're going about this all wrong. But then the other twin was like, no, we have been through stuff too. So, I mean, you can't just say because she's been through something, that's the reason why she acts the way she acts. That is true. Every one of you have gone through something, but everybody's response to their experiences are different. Girl, honey, oh my God. So then we go over to Abira, and she's in the studio working on her music. Abira is a great artist. I got to give her that, honey. A little vicious, can lay a track down. All right. So then Minnie and Monie show up because, of course, Minnie got to show up where the money resides. So she's over there with Abira. They're sitting in the studio listening to this track. And Abira starts opening up about her daughter and how they had a talk the other day about, Abira being a teen mom. So she was like, you know what? I was talking to my daughter and I was telling her about me being a teen mom and everything I went through. And I just feel like I want to talk to other kids that are her same age to let them know, not to be so easily influenced. So then Monie gonna say, well, I think everybody should be involved. No, everybody should not be involved. This is something that Abira wants to do. So I don't feel like you should bring the twins, drag that drama into something that she's trying to do that's positive. The twins are not receptive to Abira right now. So that's not a good space to have them all three there with them side-eyeing and rolling their eyes. And then that's going to make Abira's self-esteem a little bit low. And she's going to feel like she's not giving her all. Like, no, leave them out. And even Abira was like, no, I don't want them in my space when I'm trying to do something like this. So I do not want them to come. Like, no, they should not come to try to fix it. We've already done that. Stop putting them in settings where things could possibly explode. That's stupid. Andrea's getting ready to be America's Next Top Model, honey, in the next scene. She's putting on all these clothes. Chris is being a hater, and his insecurities are showing. Chris, your slip is showing, honey. Gone on back down to Texas if you cannot support this girl. So then he starts asking her questions like, are you going to stick with it? Then he asks this girl, do they know you're little? Oh my goodness. See, you better than me because I would not deal with Chris. He is no good in any aspect. He always leaves you pregnant and dry, honey. Now he's trying to stomp all over you by asking if these people know that you're little. Like, he is so stupid. All right, moving on. In the next scene, we see Monie. She goes to see Juicy at her office. And so Monie wants to get into promoting. So then Juicy gonna start being shady, talking about, well, what would Monie do without me? I mean, first I had to find the girl an apartment. Now I gotta help her with the promotion. I mean, I'm gonna start needing to collect some coins after this. See, and Monie, that's your fault because you should have went to apartments.com to get that basic apartment. You do not need Minnie or Juicy or Monie. Who are y'all, child? I don't know. You don't need Juicy. You don't need the Queen of Atlanta to help you get an apartment. That was just dumb. Girl, if you don't go on apartments.com and find an apartment in your price range, go visit it, put your down payment down and move on in. Girl, whatever. So then she says she doesn't know much about promoting. Juicy said, I don't know much about promoting, but you can go with me to this St. Patrick's Day event that I'm having and we can all make some money off of it. So Juicy tells her to be careful though, because people in Atlanta will try to take advantage of you, especially if you're a little person. So Minnie got her a meeting with a modeling agency. She got Andrea a meeting with the modeling agency. So when she goes there, he asked her for her pictures, because of course, if you're here and you're going to be going to an agency, you would have pictures. This girl pulls up her phone and her IG photos. Oh my God, Andrea, you are so tacky, honey. I know you don't know, but ask questions before you go so that you don't look crazy. Even he was like, oh, okay, we're pulling out the phone. Oh, okay. So then he asked her to walk. Let me see you walk, 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 walk. Okay. So then she starts walking, showing her little personality, and he was filming her with this little iPad, which kind of seemed creepy to me. But I mean, I guess that's what they do. It just seemed weird. I mean, you could have just looked at her. I don't know why you're filming it, but okay. And then he tells her that she needs a professional lookbook because when she goes on go-sees, as I learned from America's Next Top Model, shout out to Tyra Banks, she's going to need a portfolio with her shots. And then he also tells her she needs some polishing. Then he tells her about this casting call that they're going to be having and that she needs to be prepared, better prepared for that than she was today. So all the girls show up to this St. Patrick's Day event. Why are y'all invited to this? This is what I was thinking initially. Because I associate St. Patrick's Day with leprechauns, rainbows, clovers, and balloons, honey. I don't understand why they're inviting you to something like this, but okay. So Andrea is annoyed because Amanda, she starts talking. And so Andrea's annoyed with Minnie because she got Amanda some go-sees before she even got her any work. Y'all need to let Minnie go as a manager. That just doesn't make sense. She's stretched too thin. She can't do everything for all people. So some of y'all need to go over here with Juicy at. She don't have nobody at the present time. So go over there and see what she doing, honey. So Abira, she comes in and she speaks. She said, "Hey, twins." The twins said nothing. Y'all are childish. And y'all clearly were not raised right. If somebody comes in and they speak to you, when someone enters a room and they speak, you speak back. Even if you don't want to be bothered. Even mumble it under your breath, but say something. Okay? But I mean, that was just shady. Okay? So then she comes in and she speaks and they're all sitting there awkwardly and not saying a word. Minnie comes out with these leprechaun outfits. And I'm like, Minnie, I know you don't think these girls are actually about to put this outfit on. Like, why would you even disrespect them like that? But then y'all got to remember that Juicy, she don't mind being disrespected. She was disrespected on season 8 of The Housewives of Atlanta when she was dressed up like an elf. Do y'all remember that? When Phaedra had that Christmas party and then Nene comes over and she was like, "Miss Juicy, you dressed up like a damn elf." And Juicy was up there just smiling. Honey, all money is not good money. Nobody wants to dress up like a leprechaun. You look stupid in this outfit and you trying to make them look stupid, but they stood their ground. Money was like, "I'm pissed. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want the disrespect." Of course, the twins, they weren't buying it because they already been through this kind of stuff as they grew up. Minnie wasn't about to do it. And Abira show wasn't about to let them disrespect her. So they put that elf back on the shelf, honey. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to be dressed up like a leprechaun. Like, come on now. And I knew they invited those girls because they were short. Then Juicy comes back over counting her $1 bills and it's $100 in the front. What do they pay you? $115? Girl, gone somewhere, honey. All money is not good money. So now we're at this school that Abira is speaking at this youth program. And she's there with her daughter. And when she walks in, initially the kids started laughing. But they're kids. They don't know any better, honey. But they need to be taught better. So she stands up there. She gets a little bit nervous. And I know her daughter was nervous because, she's a teenager. And teenagers don't like awkward stuff. They don't like people making fun of them or making fun of their families. It's a very sensitive time for a kid that age. So then Abira starts to talk about not trying to fit in and how the reason she got pregnant at 16 was because, she didn't feel like she was pretty enough and she didn't feel like her boobs were growing at the same rate as the other girls. She wasn't as tall. There were a lot of insecurities that she had. So the first person that she opened up to, she opened her legs up and got pregnant. So, instead of her going to parties and being a teenager, she was at home raising another person and she was unable to take care of herself. But she pulled herself up by her bootstraps and now she's here today. And then there was a question in the audience from a young man and he asked if she had ever felt depressed. And she just basically let him know, from 7th grade all the way into my senior year, I felt sad, I felt depressed. But if you ain't popping, people ain't talking. You know what I'm saying? If they talking about you, then obviously it's something great in you that they see that they cannot keep your name out of their mouth. And I agree with that 100%. After that, the kids started opening up a little bit more and Abira did great. So her and Monie go out into the hallway and Monie starts to get emotional because she feels like if the girls could just see this side of Abira, then things would be a lot better. And I agree with that. I feel like if you just let your walls down just a little bit and be who you are in these scenes, that they will be more receptive to you. So now COVID has become national news, honey. The president has declared it a natural disaster. Everybody is getting, ready for COVID, trying to take the necessary steps to stay safe. And so we see the twins, they're putting together some care packages for people who are less fortunate with non-perishable food items. Miss Juicy comes over and then Miss Juicy says, if you have health problems, you are more receptacle to getting it. What the hell is receptacle? Juicy, I don't know how you made it on the radio, honey. It has to be your personality because you can't talk worth a damn. Balsamic vinaigrette, receptacle. Stop putting all these L's in every word. Girl, what is wrong with you? I'm like, oh my goodness. And the twins don't ever correct her. Every time she says something like that, they just let her say it. I'm just like, oh my goodness. They call Minnie, but she's sick. Child, oh my God. At the end of this episode, it was too much for me. They call Minnie, she's sick. But Abira and Monie are coming. They all meet up. They put their mask on. They give the items to the people at the place, and then they all say their goodbyes to each other because they don't know when they're going to see each other again. And then they show the preview for next week's episode, and this is when Minnie's untimely demise happens. So I'm going to tell y'all straight up, honey, because I'm an empath, and I've been watching Little Women of Atlanta since season 1, when people didn't want to even be bothered with Little Women of Atlanta. Like, why are you watching it? Because I like it. And Minnie was my favorite person on the show. And I'm telling y'all right now, I might not be able to get through that review next week. So there might not be a review, honey. But just know that I will be watching and trying not to cry. All right, so that pretty much sums up this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I am so sorry that I didn't get to review it last week, but I will review it moving forward. But like I said, I'm hoping that I can get through the review for next week because that's going to be kind of hard for me. I hope that you guys will like, subscribe, and comment down below. Please don't hesitate to go over to my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, and follow me there. I'm trying to build that following and get better at actually posting. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.